Oh man, great morning. Good morning. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. I am John. I am not sick anymore. I'm alive.
It was touch and go for a little
I
while.
feel like we've been away for a long time. And we've been away for almost 2 weeks. And in that 2 weeks, we went on a healing retreat, which was fantastic.
We were away for 2 weeks.
We were away for 2 weeks. And then I got back. I had a little sniffle up there. And then I came back and I got
Bam.
full blown in bed for a week.
I don't think they were related. I think you had like some congestion and a sniffle for a week, and then you got hit with a flu.
And then I got hit with a flu. Yes. Ah, man. What do you I don't like being sick.
Nobody does.
But this was a
Nobody
good time
being
of being sick. I felt like it was time off I felt like I was more productive than usual sicknesses.
What does that mean? You literally laid in bed for like 5 days and did
I
nothing.
I know, but
you weren't on your computer. You weren't on.
I know.
You didn't do anything.
I felt productive in maintaining my relationship with God. Usually when I'm sick, I feel like I am abandoned and forsaken, and you and God are doing all this stuff in the name of humanity, and you're literally bringing world peace. And I'm just hopefully.
Oh, I hear what you're saying.
Hopefully I get better.
Usually when you're sick, you're full of self-pity. But you weren't this time?
Yeah, I didn't feel I felt God didn't abandon me this time. Or maybe I just have more of that relationship in my life.
That's cool.
Yeah, I felt a little more productive this time. I did not leave the house until Friday.
I don't think productive is the right word, because you didn't produce anything.
I did. I produced a poem. It was an amendable poem.
Amends poem.
I read you a poem that I wrote, and then I did a lot of online work, like the YouTube work and thumbnails.
But that was after the 5 days. For 5 days, you didn't do anything.
Yeah,
which I was really proud of you. I mean,
thank you.
That's how I know you're sick, is you're not talking about work all the time.
Is that how we know?
That's how I know you're sick, because you don't talk about work all the time.
All right.
And that's how I knew you were very sick, and I was very worried.
So worried. All right, let's get this show on the road. Let's get our morning meditation on. We are on December the 5th. Do you think most people have Christmas trees up at this hour?
Most people probably do.
December?
Am I wrong?
I think a lot of people.
Do you have your Christmas tree up?
Do you have your Christmas tree up? I think a lot of people that have real trees, especially, only go about 2 weeks out.
Maybe.
I might be wrong.
We do not use a real Christmas tree, and we do not have a tree up.
We are a bit apathetic sometimes on decoring.
Well, I would say we were away, and then you were sick.
I was so sick that I couldn't even.
I had someone to visit in the hospital, and so I spent the weekend in the hospital.
I'm not berating us. I'm not putting us down. It just is.
I refuse to feel bad about not decorating yet, because
I never feel bad about not decorating.
I feel that I'm aware that this week I need to spend my mental energy wisely and not waste it on.
Would you prefer the tree to be up this week?
Yes. Oh, I would have preferred the tree to be up 2 weeks ago.
Really? Why wouldn't you have made a petition?
We were doing stuff.
Okay, I was being sick. If I had known, I might.
Even before that, maybe
I was too sick.
I wanted to put it up a couple weekends ago, and then I was like, oh, it's too soon. But then this weekend was gone. This is the weekend I would have put it up. The first weekend of December.
Okay.
I aim for that. Yeah.
All right. So
just so you know, I have Thursday or Saturday in my head for putting up the tree.
Okay. But it could just get up out of the blue one day.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Not by
December
me,
the 5th.
I won't be here.
In spite of all we have learned in our fellowship, our healing fellowship, in our 12-step fellowship, in our LifeLab fellowship, our old way of thinking comes back on us. It does. Sometimes with overwhelming force. And we occasionally occasionally some of us have slips. We forget or refuse to call on the power of God for help. We seemingly we seem to deliberately make our minds a blank as far as any of our 12-step training goes, and we take a drink or overthink or cause chaos, fixing and controlling, or overeating, whatever it is. We eventually get drunk. We are temporarily right back where we started. Those who have had slips say anonymously that they were no fun. Unanimously. Oh,
slips are no fun.
Slips are no fun. They say the fellowship had taken all the pleasure out of drinking. They knew they were doing the wrong thing. The old mental conflict was back in full force. They were disgusted with themselves. Question: am I convinced that I have never got anything more out of drinking? Am I convinced that I can never get anything more out of drinking? Or am I convinced that my addiction has nothing more to offer me? Meditation for today. Give something to those who are having trouble. To those whose thoughts are confused, something of your sympathy, your prayers, your time, your love, your thought, yourself. Then give of your own confidence as you have had it given to you by the grace of God. Give of yourself and of your loving sympathy. Give your best to those who need it and will accept it. Give according to need, never according to deserts. Remember
what?
Give according to need, never according to deserts.
Okay.
Remember, like I want to give, not to get something out of it.
Right.
Remember that the giving of advice can never take the place of giving of yourself. Woo! When I hear this meditation, I am reminded of the step one question is, have I fully conceded to my inmost being that I am powerless? I have no control, zero control over my addiction. Have I actually conceded to that? And then if I've fully conceded to that, then I move towards the solution, and the solution is God, which will solve all of my problems. So I think a lot of people say slips are part of recovery. I disagree with that, and I think that slips are proof that you don't have recovery. But it can point you in the right direction. And I think, of course, there's a process of really building that relationship with God that will solve all of that.
And that distinction is important because it should give people hope that they don't need to have slips, that they don't have to stay on this merry-go-round, that actually, like, doing the work, being in recovery and doing the work and getting connected to a solution actually means that you get to get off the merry-go-round.
Yeah. And then I've worked with many people, seen many people that, once they started this process, have never gone back to their addiction. Like, it doesn't mean that they're perfect or have a standard of, like, all of a sudden they have little angel wings and they're glowing. It just means that they are on the shore of faith, building a relationship with God and living out of that faith, and letting God be the provider, letting God be the protector, building a relationship that is built on faith and love and trust and commitment and dedication, instead of living out of grace. I think all of us get in the door through grace, but we can't stay sober on grace alone. It runs out. Prayer of the day. I pray that as I have received, so may I give. I pray that I may have the right answer to those who are confused. Even myself.
Even yourself.
Amen. Keep the peace. Be of good behavior. Keep washing your hands. And we will see you tomorrow.
You'd think over 2 weeks we could have a better.
My friend.